Good evening, everyone. My name is Peter, and I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic. I just want to reiterate what Thomas had said about the baptism last week and how proud I am of everyone that took the courage and were brave enough to go up here and get into that hot tub and be baptized in front of the whole congregation. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery to do that. Earlier this week, for those of you that get my thought for the day or maybe read it on Facebook, you will have seen this, and the thought was about bravery. The thing about being brave is it doesn't come with the absence of fear and hurt. Bravery is the ability to look fear and hurt in the face and say, move aside, you're in my way. Remember, you are brave, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are smart, and most importantly, you are loved. So be brave today. So this is kind of a good segue into step 4, that good old step that we fear and that we're really resistant to doing a lot of the time. We don't ever want to do a deep dive into step 4 because it makes us feel just a little bit itchy, bitchy, and twitchy at times. Is this. It says, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. So we talk about bravery. To do this step, you have to muster all the courage that you can and start digging deep. So I entitled this message, checking out old ego and getting rid of it. The ego, that part of you that feeds on and maintains the illusion of power and control. It is the mantra, it has a mantra of its own, and that mantra is, it's not my fault. I don't know if any of you can relate to that or not. I sure do. From the past, blaming everyone else for your life or close in your life or close to your life for the difficulties, your mistakes, and your bad choices. No matter what's happened to you, your ego ensures that it really wasn't your fault. The fault, and there's always fault, lies with others, your spouse, your partner, your children, your boss, your colleagues. For some of you, the police, your lawyer, and for some, racial, ethnic, or religious communities other than your own. Doing a thorough and fearless dive into step 4 silences that mantra. It changes your ego into humility. I'm here to tell you that it is your fault. And let me rephrase that, it's our fault for our actions when we were in our addiction and no one else's. So we agree, it's our fault. Well, maybe not totally, but enough of your fault to begin to notice the plank in your eye and to stop cataloging or judging others and the specks in other people's eyes. The scripture I chose tonight was Matthew 7, 3 through 5. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. This is part of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, where he is directing us on how to conduct ourselves in reference to the faults of others. We aren't to judge others, only ourselves. And we take great pride in that in this church, is not judging other people and opening the doors wide enough to accept all who come here. Step 4 asks us to take a close look at that plank in our own eye by making a searching and fearless moral inventory. This inventory is one that honestly and unabashedly examines the vices that haunt our lives. It asks us to look at those deepest, darkest secrets that we always thought we would take to our grave with us. Those are the secrets that will keep taking us back out. We need to address them and bring them up in a step 5. I want to put a word of caution in here. If these secrets are something that could cause you huge or great embarrassment, if they are secrets that could cause you to be charged with an offense, If there's secrets that you wouldn't share with everybody, then be cautious on who you do your step 5 with. I recommend that you do it with somebody that you totally 100% trust, and that may or may not be your sponsor. Please choose carefully who you get to do that. This step calls upon us to do a searching and a fearless moral inventory. But where do we start? It sounds pretty complicated, especially for a guy my age. It seems to me I could fill books up for stuff. Some of you that are a bit younger, maybe not so much. Whom do we include? How far back do we go? How much detail should we go into? There is no right way to do the 4-step inventory, but there are ways to keep our process focused and to keep it simple. Faced with the prospect of listing a lifetime of resentments about every wrong we thought we had ever been done to us, and equally a vast list of all the things that we had done to harm others, we could write volumes on that. Our inventories invariably include family members, friends, employers, co-workers, institutions, and of course those that we think of as our enemies. It can be easy to get bogged down in such a history, so much wreckage of our past. The good news is that there is a clear and a straightforward format for a personal inventory outlined in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. It provides the first, and I think still the best, roadmap for AA's co-founders, Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob, set out for us originally, described as cleaning house. Using this approach to the inventory, we list all of our resentments, identify who or what caused them, state how each resentment has affected us, and specifically the role we played in each of these dynamics. This simple, powerful tool helps us eliminate the terminal vagueness about the symptoms and the effects of our addiction and our attitudes and behaviors. Doing the 4-step vagueness gives way to the light of clarity. Just as step 1 stripped away our denial about our addiction and our compulsions, step 4 lays bare the exact nature of our wrongs. With step 4, we begin to become accountable for our actions. The entire program of 12-step recovery seems counterintuitive at first, with its central concept of surrender and the admission of powerless, providing the path to true empowerment and regaining that power. Taking the 4th step is a frightening prospect with its call to rigorous honesty, but paradoxically, the 4th step taken with the 5th is incredibly freeing. These 2 steps are the beginning of our healing process. As I was once told by a sponsor, it's all about fear. When we're active in our disease, a vast cloud of fear surrounds us. Things that we said and did that make us feel ashamed, and the anticipation of dire consequences resulting from actions taken under the influence. The fear that grows out of our addiction is, as AA describes alcoholism, is cunning, baffling, powerful, and I always like to add on the backside of that is patient. This fear is based on terrible truths. Our drinking and drugging and acting out compulsively caused us to lose so much. We've lost jobs, family, relationships, homes, security, happiness, peace of mind, and even our health, our freedom, and for many of our brothers and sisters, they've actually lost their lives as a result. In recovery, as in life, with our higher power, it helps to remember what Luke taught us in Luke 12, verses 2 and 3. And it says this: "The time is coming when everything will be revealed. All that is secret will be made public. Whatever you said in the dark will be heard in the light. And what you have whispered behind closed doors will be shouted from the rooftops for all to hear." Step 4 takes us away the denial about what we did to others and to ourselves, and helps us move on into the new life based on honesty and openness. We're only as sick as our secrets, and doing the 4th step exposes our darkest secrets, where the light of day will empower us. If fear gets in the way of our process of becoming rigorously honest, we can find help in the prayer that's on page 68 in the big book, and it's simple. It says this: God, relieve me of this fear and direct my attention to what you would have me be. The 4-step frees us through its cleansing nature by revealing our shortcomings and character defects, the things that bring us the greatest shame. We empty ourselves of toxicity. Paul described how Jesus emptied himself, taking the form of a slave, being born in human likeness, and being found in human form. He humbled himself and became obedient. The concept of self-emptying, known in Christian history by the Greek name kenosis, is common to many in the world's religions. In clearing away for our own baggage, our ego, our obsessions with self, we can open ourselves to God's power to work wonders in us. The gift and promise of the 4-step is that we can break that chain of pain through God and force of transformation. Step 4 is our preparation for what I believe is the most powerful step, which is step 5, where we share our personal inventory with another person in the presence of God, and in so doing, we're able to let go of the baggage. When we take the 5th step, the process of kenosis is emptying out. We're emptying out all of that bad stuff, all of that stuff that's inside us, and in recovery, it's complete. We have to let go not only of the actual addictive substances and behaviors, we now let go of the soul-sickening garbage. We reach this milestone in step 4 when we can tell ourselves the truth about our lives. The story might be painful to put into words. We might feel shame and remorse, and we will work through resentments and anger along the way. We seek to understand ourselves without making excuses. We take responsibility for where we are and for what we have done along the way. In recovery, we have counselors, we have sponsors, we have friends, we have mentors, and we need to reach out to them to help us face these hard truths and difficult challenges. They have seen and heard life stories like ours before, and they understand how difficult and how transforming this step can be. Don't hesitate to reach out to your group or your sponsor for support as you work through creating your inventory and the emotions that may rise to the surface during this process. Step 4 is all about rigorous honesty, getting rid of ego, and taking accountability for all our actions in the past. We need to be shining light onto suppressing feelings and memories as it exposes this important truth. The past does not have to continue to define who we are. By seeing ourselves clearly, we have the ability to change our futures. We can live differently from this point forward if we understand and acknowledge what has come before. So just in closing tonight, I want to remind you that there are several people here at this service that are ready to help any of you with your step 4, with your step 5. If you're feeling a bit stressed about it, if you're a bit itchy, bitchy, and twitchy, don't hesitate to reach out and contact one of us. Again, all of those who got baptized last week, I just want to congratulate